We are back here on the CANUSA Sports Desk. We do have Kevin Smith on, a current free agent of the NFL who played at the University of Central Florida, received an All-American honor. Smith was picked by the Detroit Lions in the third round of the 2008 draft. Smith was with the Detroit Lions up until last season. Welcome to the show, Mr. Kevin Smith.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, first thing we want to know is, what has Kevin Smith been up to since we last saw you with the Lions at the end of last year?
Man, I've been training since February. Been working real hard to keep my body in shape and, stay in tune and get ready to get signed here pretty soon whenever a team gives me a call.
It's funny you bring that up because we have seen some of your training clips on YouTube, and we need to know, how do you compare your physical self now to when you were a rookie heading into the NFL?
It's a lot different, man. I'm a lot older, but, as you get older, you sort of gain some, so to speak, some grown man strength. So, you want to tailor your workouts to, things that you want to improve on. So, I always want to get faster. Of course, I always want to get bigger, quicker. So, I work with my trainer, Tarek Maddox, ESBA training, and, we just attack different areas, and cater the workout, specifically to, what we're trying to improve on.
Looking at all the current starting running backs in the NFL today, do you feel there could be a place where you fit in best in the NFL?
I've always felt like I can start in the NFL. I've been a starter in the league. Obviously I've had injuries in my career, but, with God's blessings, those are over with in the past in the rearview mirror. And, and that's another thing, I'm training my body, doing a lot of injury prevention things. So, when I get a shot, man, I'll make it work out, whether it's a starter or a backup. Everything happens for a reason, but my whole goal is to get back into the NFL and play some football on Sundays.
Now, if you're able to pick out of any NFL team, which NFL offense today would be the most exciting for you to play in, where that fits your style the best?
I don't think my game is one-dimensional because I'm a runner that can do everything. Pass, protect, catch the ball, run the power scheme, the zone scheme, the read option. So, any football player is a good play for me, so that would be any team, all 32.
Is there an offense right now that you look at and like, wow, that'd be fun to play there? Like, would it be with RG3, that's a dynamic player like that, or would it be, just a certain offensive coordinator that you've played with in the past where, you feel that, it's fun to play there, or you wished you had that chance to play in a certain, and under his regime?
Nah, actually, man, now that I'm watching, football on Sundays, I think all offenses are, there's only a certain amount of plays you can run in football. Obviously some teams are going with the zone read, with your 49ers, Washington, teams that have mobile quarterbacks. But besides that, every team's running zone, every team's running power, every team is running, toss sweep. So I just think that, I can play with any team. I don't really have a specific team that I say on Sundays like, I wish I have an opportunity to play with this quarterback or with this team because of this. This is what they do offensively. I just think that, man, I want to play football, period. So at this point, it doesn't even matter.
Now, what has been the greatest memory of your playing days when you were in the league the first time around, before you come back in this near future? What is the one thing when you close your eyes, that's the moment that you remember when you played? Just the greatest moment you remember in the NFL?
The greatest moment in the NFL would have to be I would say when we went to the playoffs, because I've only been to the playoffs one time in my career.
Mm-hmm.
So, just being able to extend that season into the postseason. Even though we came up short, it was just a great feeling because, everybody likes to play 16 games, but to be able to have an opportunity to play in the postseason was a great experience for me.
Do you participate in fantasy football?
No.
No? It's so big nowadays. I thought everyone was just a fantasy football group, especially now. You're watching the game on Sundays with the rest of us. I gotta teach you what we all do. Us couch potatoes we do on a Sunday. But do you find...
I'm definitely not trying to become a couch potato. I'm not into the fantasy football. I think I've been playing this sport my whole life, and it's something that I take very serious. It's very dear and important to me. Not that there's anything wrong with playing fantasy football, but it's just that my focus is really getting back on the field, and that's what I'm determined to do. So, and I leave fantasy football to my family members and my friends. They enjoy it. So,
is it something that happens in the NFL locker room? Is there just not for money, just because it's fantasy sports is so big in every hockey, football, baseball. Is there kind of fantasy teams that go within the into the thing, or is that kind of Yeah,
I've never.
No.
I've never heard anybody play fantasy football. At least not in the Detroit locker room while I was there. We do the NCAA brackets for the NCAA tournament, but I've never heard anybody play fantasy football.
So I'm assuming now you have Sunday ticket like the rest of us. What is the one team that you always kind of find yourself watching? Is it the Lions still? Is it your home team when your favorite team when you were a child? What's the first game you turn on a Sunday?
Probably the Lions.
The Lions.
Because I'm home, and actually watching the game from the outside in, I still have a chance to get better. Meaning, I watch the Lions because I still know the terminology offensively, so I kind of can see what's going on, before a play takes place. When I see guys about to blitz, I kind of know, who's going to pick them up or, what the hot in the sight is. So it just gives me a chance to kind of stay in tune, kind of doing my own personal film session. So I would have to say Detroit's the first game I watch, but I watch a lot of the games on Sundays.
So I have to ask you about two of your former teammates. Calvin Johnson, how great is he? Was he the best player you've ever played with?
Yeah, he's the best player I've ever played in my life, and even a greater person.
And is Ndamukong Suh just that competitive, or are you just getting a bad rap with his actions on the field?
I think he's a monster. I think, I think personally that Suh plays the game how he saw it coming up. Whether that was the Lawrence Taylors or I think. Suh watched a lot of original football where, there weren't a lot of concussions, protocols, and things of that nature. But I won't say he's a dirty player, not to my knowledge. But I know he's very competitive. He loves the sport.
And you never felt unsafe being on the practice field with him. It just, that's so how he plays the game on Sunday at 110%, and that's just how it is. And right now, he just gets a bad rap for things that he does.
I've never felt unsafe practicing with anybody. I don't even feel unsafe playing the game. So, and I think he works hard, man. Whatever comes out in the media, comes out. But I think he works extremely hard. I know he loves the game, and to my knowledge, I've never, known Suh to be a guy who, will personally try to injure somebody on purpose, because I know he has respect for his colleagues.
So there's a lot of trash talk in the game of football. What can you tell us, that's probably clean enough, the most entertaining trash talk you've heard say to yourself, that you've heard a teammate say in the game? Is there one that you stand out that kind of, it made you chuckle when you heard it either being said to you or you've heard a teammate say to somebody else?
I think I heard an opposing player tell one of my tackles one time that he's going to slit his throat. I thought that was pretty harsh. I didn't even think it was pretty funny, but there's trash talk. I don't think I've gotten a lot of the trash talk because I'm a guy that after the play I'm usually back in the huddle, and I usually try to save a lot of energy, by just getting up, getting the ball back to the ref, and getting back to the huddle. So, there's always trash talk. Guys say different things, but for the most part, man, the NFL is a game that you play with your colleagues. People have a lot of respect. So, when words are exchanged, I think it's a lot of fun. But
there are a lot of players that trash talk is part of their game. Their game is to get into their opponent's head, and they'll do anything. I'm a Bills fan, and I believe Stevie Johnson is that type of player because you see him constantly yapping at the defensive back, at the safety, just trying to get in their head and trying to, beat him mentally. And it's quite interesting. Certain players will use that as their weapon, and there's other players like yourself that at the end of the play, you just turn around and go back to the huddle. I don't know, maybe because, as a running back, you're not really lined up on the line against anyone to really trash talk, whereas it's different against a lineman or a defensive back or a wide receiver where you're so close to the person that's covering you at that time.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think you hit it right on the head. We're 7 yards in the backfield, so, we're usually just listening for the quarterback's cadence. But I could see, if I was a defensive back or even a receiver or, especially lineman, interior lineman, I could see that being a part of the game because even if you're a defensive back talking to a receiver, you could be talking trash or you could just be trying to take away their focus or, not allow them to hear the snap count, maybe get them to jump offside. So I could see that working to the advantage.
So what does Kevin Smith like to do when he needs to get away from the game of football, getting away from training? What do you like to do when you just want to just be an everyday person?
I like to play with my kids all the time. I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, so I like to spend a lot of time with my kids, my dogs, my family. I'm a family man.
And what kind of dogs do you have?
German Rottweilers, puppies.
Oh, okay. So during your time with the Lions, where would we find Kevin Smith first? At a Pistons game or at a Red Wings game?
Pistons. Love
Pistons?
Basketball.
Did you go to many Pistons games when you were with the Lions?
I did indeed. I did.
Because it's just, and what do you think of their chances this year, the Pistons?
I think they're young. I think they're putting together. Obviously they have some studs. They have Monroe and Knight. I think they're building despite the record. I've watched them play a lot of games, and I think they're on the right path.
So we know your Twitter handle is Kevin Smith RB. What other social media websites do you have?
Kevin Smith RB on Instagram. Kevin Smith RB on Facebook. Pretty much Kevin Smith RB can lead you to all Kevin Smith social networking.
So you enjoy social media, which I've noticed on your Twitter. What is the one thing that other athletes don't understand about social media that give social media a bad rap? We've heard lately, social media kind of getting a bad rap from athletes because, fans give them a hard time and they kind of say, it's a distraction. What is the one thing that you can educate fellow athletes on how you use social media or the best way for you to use social media?
Obviously social media is such a great marketing tool and a branding tool just because you can touch the world, from your living room. But I think the one thing that that's easier said than done is to, not let it get personal. There's always critics, with positive remarks and comments. There's always negative remarks and comments. And you just try to get your feelings out of it and kind of stick to your game plan of marketing and kind of tune out the negative. And just don't make it personal. I mean, do what your intentions are, on Twitter, Instagram, and just try not to keep it personal. I think that you should be just fine on whatever you're doing.
So moving on to kind of the hot topics in the NFL today, are the Buccaneers making the right choice for benching Josh Freeman for Mike Glennon this week against Arizona?
I'm not sure. I don't follow the Buccaneers. I don't know anything about that.
I just find, personally, I think Josh Freeman is their best quarterback that they have on the roster. I don't know what's going on in the locker room there that has caused him, to miss the team photo. He's been kind of left out on practice. But, if the Bucs have been looking for ways to win for a while now, and I think, personally, Josh Freeman is their best chance to play and to win. Moving on to San Francisco, the 49ers have not come out as strong as everyone thought they were going to come out. Do you think the 49ers made the wrong decision by keeping Kaepernick and letting Alex Smith go?
Nah, they went to the Super Bowl last year. I think it's still early in the season. And, it's too early to tell, man. The first quarter of the season is just about to be over after week 4, so it's too early.
Too early because Alex Smith is 3-0 in Kansas City. Personally, I feel that Alex Smith got a bad rap in San Francisco, where he got injured and he lost his job, and he was never really given a chance to get his starting job back. Kaepernick came in, did well, but even the games that Kaepernick struggled, they didn't throw Alex Smith back in there and give him a chance to get his job back. I think, this is their vision was Kaepernick was going to be our quarterback, and Alex Smith, the first chance we had to replace him, we were, and luckily he got hurt and Kaepernick was able to come in, and Kaepernick led him to the Super Bowl. So there really was no reason to put Alex Smith back in, but it just, you go from a traditional quarterback with Alex Smith to the new dynamic quarterback in Colin Kaepernick. If I were building a team, I would build around Alex Smith personally. Last question before we go to break. Both the Giants and Redskins are 3-0. Are any of those teams going to be in contention when playoff time comes?
It's possible. Like I said, it's still early. The first quarter of the season is just wrapping up, and as long as those teams can find a way to get a couple wins here and get closer to 500, I think at this point, 3-0 on 3, everybody still has a shot to make the playoffs.
So after the break, we are be joined by Kevin Smith of the Detroit Lions and also Cale Ordgley joining us back again. We'll be talking about Penn State getting their scholarship back and also Robinson Cano, $300 million man. Again, join us on Twitter at CANUSA SD if you have any comments. We'll be back after these.